Well, I just want to thank you all for being um, flexible. Flexible with nobody in the sound booth today, no musician, no soloist, and yeah, I'm wearing many hats this morning, and I'm just so grateful. And look, I even got my microphone to work. I'm like really amazed at myself today, let me tell you. Oh my goodness. Um, and I want to start with a story. And after that, can I do the personal affirmation still? If we can grab that, thank you. So I want to start with a story about a traveler was visiting a monastery in the Himalayas, and he was having dinner with the monks. And suddenly, one of the monks stands up and says loudly, 24! And with that, the monks all start chuckling. Well, it wasn't not a moment later, maybe a minute or two, another monk stands up and says, 37! And now everybody's laughing like crazy. Well, the abbot leaned over to the traveler and he said, we have told the same jokes so often that we've numbered them. It's easier to just say the number. And so with that, the traveler shouts, 112. And the room just, they're doubled over laughing. And they're like, oh man, that's a good one. We haven't heard that one before. Laughter, joy, isn't it good for us? Yes, it says, and I like this affirmation. Today, this is not the one for personal. You know what? Yeah, let's go to this. We write a personal affirmation every week for you to take home and hopefully affirm this all week long for yourself. So let's say this together. I am part of the divine nature of God, and I can say no when something doesn't serve me. Ooh, let's say that again. I am part of the divine nature of God, and I can say no when something doesn't serve me. You can put something or someone doesn't serve you. Because life is meant to laugh when somebody says 112, right? I mean, they figured it out. I titled this talk today, Nurturing Yourself and Nurturing Others. And Rev Sandy back there, her and Connie are working the cameras. And we have been dealing with the Book of Joy, we've been the pleasure of being able to talk for 3 weeks about the Book of Joy with the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu, coming together for 5 days. And that book, just the title, The Book of Joy. And it has brought so much joy. I know Sandy and I working on those 3 weeks of talks, it became so easy for us. Because literally, when you see two 90-year-olds get together and they are like two little boys, and that's why I chose that meditation today, to go find the little boy and little girl in you. Because I don't even know what I'm going to do with these notes. Bear with me, because I feel like this is so important. It is so important for us to find that little girl and little boy in us, because we rob them under the name of adulthood and responsibilities and, the way we look, the way we present ourselves. And we're robbing ourselves of playtime. What are you doing? So let's talk about nurturing yourself. The Dalai Lama, the book we've been covering, the Book of Joy, a lot of it was about nurturing others, that you will find joy when you nurture and give yourself to others. I'm going to get to that. But right now, I feel that our world, and I feel like ourselves, and more than ever, I feel like I'm talking to myself, of needing to nurture myself. I get so wrapped up in responsibilities, people's lives, people's situations, and I got my own situations going, and I'm over here taking care of all of this. Oh, and then let's add in this week the CDC, and every day there's another announcement, and who's saying what, and what are we supposed to do this Sunday, and now do we put the mask on, do we make it mandatory, do the kids, and I rob myself of what my little girl needs. And what does she need? I know she needs time. She wants time. She wants my time. And whether that be that I just sit in a chair. Yesterday, because of the movie from Friday night, where it said, if you are depressed, oh, help me, I hope I say this right, it was one of the guys in the movie Emotion that we showed at movie night Friday night. And he said, when you are depressed, get off your butt and get outside and take a walk. And so I found myself yesterday in an extreme, serious mode. And I said to myself, get off your butt, get outside, and go for a walk. And that's what I did. And I have no idea why nature can be such a healer. And I'm looking at Tom, Reverend Tom's smiling face over there, because he goes out at least 2 times a day under the name of taking his dog a walk. So he technically is doing a responsibility thing. But let me tell you, he is in joy the whole time that he takes Bodie for a walk. Bodie. Bailey. I knew that wasn't right. Yes. He is kind of a Bodie, though. He's very at times. You know, Melody Beattie, she's the author of Codependent No More. And if you haven't ever heard her stuff, I would encourage you, because she is all about the codependent nature of probably 99% of the people have codependent nature, and we want to take care of others. We want to help others, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is we forget about ourselves. And she says self-care is an attitude that says, I am responsible for myself. I am responsible for myself. Who grew up thinking that was selfish? Right. I think about, oh my goodness. It was last night. I have no idea. I was having trouble sleeping. And this childhood prayer, because I was talking to my little girl last night, wide awake. And I'm having a conversation with her. What do we need? What do I need to help us get to sleep, right? Because my adult mind is going too fast. And so here came the childhood prayer that I grew up with. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. I sat up and said, oh my God, no wonder I'm programmed for disappointment and negativity and fear and shame. Oh, begging God to please, if I die, please take me where I'm supposed to go. Subliminally, I prayed that every night of my life into very adulthood. If I should die before I wake, it's a wonder we didn't all have nightmares. How are we even sane? My goodness. Oh, it literally is proven that we are more productive if we take time for ourselves. Now, that doesn't make sense, does it, if you go into Newtonian time, which is the clock, but when you go to Einstein time, there's always enough time. And I thought that book was a bunch of malarkey when I first read it about Einstein time. I'm like, hello, there's only so many hours and so many minutes in an hour. There's only so many minutes in a day, so how do you get Einstein time? Which means that clock is irrelative. Doesn't mean anything. Son of a gun, if it doesn't work, if you can really take this thing off and quit looking at all of that. Have you ever done this? Have you ever experienced when you turn around, you look at the clock and you go, ooh, it's only 11:40. I thought it was like 10 till 12. Where did that 20 minutes go? I was listening to a YouTube last night, and this was really cute, the way this guy was doing about self-care. And he suggested that you start a warm and fuzzy file. That you literally start a file because we forget what brings you joy. We forget. That's sad in itself, isn't it? But we do because we get so busy. So you start a warm and fuzzy file, and you create things that you write on this list the things that bring you joy, the things that feel good, and then have a list of the people you call who will make you feel warm and fuzzy. Because sometimes when we are not caring for ourselves and we are gived out, wore out, and we physically are making ourselves sick, we don't call those people. We call others who will commiserate with us and then want to do the one-upmanship. Well, wait till you hear about my doctor's visits. I've got more than you do this week. Somehow there's a reward in that. I don't know, but some people think there is, right? No, you don't have anything. Listen to this. This is an Oprah quote. You don't have anything to give that you don't have. So you have to keep your own self full. If I am gived out, think about this for all of you. I'm looking out there at a couple of people that I know want to enjoy their summer on their boat, and they haven't been able to because the summer has been so busy. And I can say that for Michael and I as well, who love to be on our boat, and we've been on it once. Something's wrong with that picture, isn't it? Something that brings us joy. And under the name of life, and I'm not knocking Michael and I'm not knocking anybody out there. I'm not please do not do the shame and guilt card. Oh my Lord, don't do that. No, it's about acknowledging and stepping back and looking at maybe how can we do it something a little bit different. You know, I hope I can find this. Man, where's it at? No is a complete sentence. Bite your lip and say no once in a while to people and to things and opportunities. We call them opportunities. You know, I'm looking at my dear friend, Doc Kemper. She uses the word, I got to get off the train. And that happens every several months. She'll call and say, we need to have breakfast. I got to get off the train. What that means is she has said yes too many times. Have you experienced that when you say yes too many times? Because there's a lot of needs out there, and there's also a lot of needy out there. And let your no be a complete sentence. Now, if you are anything like I've been all my life, I'll say no because I got this and this and this and that, and then their birthdays are coming up, and we got a birthday party Saturday, and then I got a church on Sunday, so that's why I can't blah 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 blah. I call it don't vomit from the mouth. Spew it all over everybody. No, just say no. I can't. And bite your lip. Because my habit is to explain myself. We don't need to explain ourselves. That's a bad habit that I don't know where I picked it up, but I'm sure that has something to do with the guilt and the shame and the not being a good little girl. And so I have to explain why I'm saying no, because I'm going to disappoint somebody. And say, oh, I can feel it in my whole body right now. It is. It's shame and guilt. I'm not enough when I'm telling somebody else no. Can we show that slide by Louise Hay? I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking, and then the problems fix themselves. How do we fix our thinking? I'm really on a self-care here. And it's about forgiveness, because I'm going to tap into forgiveness right now. On Friday night's movie night, it brought up something that I covered in probably at least a week or 2 weeks of talks a few years ago. Ho'oponopono. That is a Hawaiian term. You may hear it pronounced ho'oponopono. Okay? It's got a lot of oponoponos in it. Okay? But it literally is a Hawaiian term, and it means to let it go, to make it right, to make something right. And ho'oponopono is the practice is to say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Now, when I first learned this term, and we covered it in Sunday morning class for quite a long time as well, and so I'm really good. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that to you. I can say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Now, go to the mirror and say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I tear up even imagining doing that, even still with all the work I've done on myself. It is so hard to forgive ourselves, isn't it? Sandy brought it up last week in the talk when she was sharing about that Muslim father. And for her to be able to do a turnaround, you must be part of forgiving yourself and seeing yourself in how she judged that father. Okay? So seeing myself in my part in how I judged the person who was the perpetrator in my life. And that doesn't mean it has to be an immense perpetrator. It can be somebody, a friend who just quit calling you, or they don't answer your text anymore. And to try and figure out why, right? Okay, I can say I love them, I forgive them, I'm sorry, thank you. Please forgive me, thank you. I can say that and then practice it and open my heart to them. But if I haven't done my own forgiveness work, then it isn't going to work. It's not going to stick. Let's put it that way. It's not going to stick. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Can you go home and look in the mirror and say that to yourself? Because when you do that, you will find healing. You will find healing. Now, to take care of others, nurturing others, that's what we were talking about for 3 weeks. Okay? Nurturing others helps us find joy. And I look around at so many of you who nurture so many people and nurture animals and nurture families and grandkids and children. I mean, I just look at how we do that very well, don't we? Most of us. So I think you got that one. But caution. Caution. How many of us over-nurture others? Take an inventory. Because if you've answered that you've not let your little child out enough, if you've not played enough, if you've not gone with your friend or your spouse or your partner and gone and played enough, then I'm going to say you're over-giving out there in the world. Because there's a little child in you screaming out. There's a little child in all of us screaming out. And I know some of you have some really tough challenges in front of you right now. And they're major challenges. And they're scary challenges. But there's still a little child in you that needs nurturing. So I just ask you to please consider talking to that little child a little more often. Get out and play, whatever that looks like. When I first started doing inner child work, you know what I did? I bought a coloring book, and I bought, the crayons, the big pack with the crayon sharpener in it. I was 40 years old, and I just sat and colored at my dining room table, and there was some kind of freedom that happened. Because I can tell you, my little girl didn't trust me at all. I kept picking alcoholics for relationships. I was a mess trying to raise my kids. I was not fun to be around. Or if I was fun to be around, it's because I found the alcoholics to hang out with, and they were a lot of fun. I hadn't done my inner work. Really, I had not done my inner work. You know, there's a saying. And let's do the happiness one. Happiness is the new rich. Inner peace is the new success. Health is the new wealth. Let's say that one again. Health is the new wealth, and kindness is the new cool. Have you noticed in Walmart and Target and Big Lots, their t-shirts are kindness, kindness, kindness matters? There's a big shift going on in our world, isn't there? Think about it. That didn't used to be the popular saying on shirts. No. And let's go to the next slide here because we're closing up here. Oh, I love that picture. When you nurture a person or thing, you care for it and help it grow. After a fight with your friend, you may have to nurture the relationship a little until you're close again. After a fight with your friend, spouse, coworker, or child, you may have to nurture the relationship a little until you're close again. How do you do that? Ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. But you've got to do it on yourself, or it isn't going to stick. Loving yourself first. So that, how did it say in the beginning there? If you cannot give anything that you don't have, you must have your cup full so that you can then pour it into others. But then be careful. Don't empty the cup. Right? You got to go back to the well, back to the well and fill it up, and then go give some more. Go give some more. There's so much joy in giving. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at Bobby because she's into goat yoga. Yes, goat yoga. It is freaking amazing. Check it out. There's videos. So with that, I just say namaste. That the Christ presence in me truly sees and honors that Christ presence in each and every one of you. Namaste. Now it's time off.